Ever wonder why it seems like the harder you chase him, the more he pulls away? What if I told you that the key to capturing his heart forever isn't chasing him, but letting him chase you? Today, we're diving into a powerful truth that could change the way you view your relationship with men forever. If you stop trying to force things and let go, you'll discover a profound truth about attraction. Trust me, this shift will make all the difference. Let's explore how letting him chase you can transform your relationship. When it comes to relationships, there's one universal truth. Attraction thrives in mystery. This isn't a trick or a game. It's human nature at its core. Men, like all humans, are wired to pursue what they cannot easily attain. There's something inherently magnetic about the challenge of chasing someone who isn't immediately available, someone who values themselves enough not to be overly eager or desperate for attention. In fact, when you stop trying to force the connection, when you pull back and let him come to you, that's when attraction intensifies. Think about it. Every relationship, every dynamic is based on the concept of value exchange. What you bring to the table is what he'll want. But if you continuously hand him everything without allowing him the chance to work for it, you devalue both yourself and the relationship. By stopping the chase, you're creating space for him to step forward, to show his intentions and to earn your trust. The key here is understanding that attraction isn't about trying harder or forcing something to happen. It's about offering a little space. It's about showing him that you have your own life, your own passions, and your own worth. This will create a natural tension, which is incredibly powerful. Men aren't looking for women to be perfect or to be at their beck and call. They're looking for women who can stand on their own, women who don't need them to feel complete. When a man knows that you have your own life, that you're not relying on him to fill some empty part of you, it gives him something to aspire to. It makes him realize that he must offer something of value to earn your attention and affection. This doesn't mean playing hard to get. It means respecting yourself enough not to chase him, but allowing him the space to come to you when he's truly ready and invested. This approach is counterintuitive to what many are taught about relationships. Society often tells us to go after what we want with everything we've got, to give it our all, but this mindset often leads to frustration and exhaustion. Chasing someone constantly can feel draining, both emotionally and mentally. And while you might think this will bring you closer, it can often lead to the opposite. When you chase, you run the risk of giving off an energy of desperation, of needing validation or approval. And this, more often than not, will push him away. Instead, attraction grows from the space you create between one another. When you stop chasing, you give him the freedom to see you as someone worth pursuing. This allows him to reflect on what you truly bring to the table and how he can meet you on equal ground. It also allows you to fully appreciate the dynamic of the relationship without feeling like you're forcing anything. You're giving him the opportunity to show his real intentions, to prove himself worth. Attraction isn't something that can be manufactured. It isn't something you can force. It has to happen naturally. And it happens when two people come together at the right moment, when they meet at a point where they both feel the desire to invest in each other. By taking a step back, by pulling away from the chase, you allow space for this process to unfold organically. You may also find that as you step back, you begin to regain your own sense of power. You start to see yourself as someone who isn't defined by whether or not he calls or texts first. You become someone who is comfortable in their own skin, who knows that they don't have to chase approval because they already know their worth. This is incredibly attractive, not just to men, but to everyone you encounter. So law of attraction is simple but powerful. The more you pull away, the more he's likely to come forward. By stopping the chase, you're actually creating the perfect environment for attraction to flourish. It's about respect, patience, and the understanding that you don't need to chase anyone to prove your value. Your worth is inherent. And that's what will make him want to chase you forever. In any relationship, there's a delicate balance between closeness and space, and understanding this balance can be the key to long-term attraction. Men, like women, crave connection, that they also have a deep need to feel needed and respected. When you chase him too relentlessly, you may unintentionally take away his ability to feel like he's earning your affection, which ultimately erodes the attraction. Instead of being a source of inspiration, your pursuit can turn into a weight that feels burdensome. This isn't to say men don't enjoy affection or attention. They do, but the attention they want is one that affirms their value, not one that's constant, overbearing, or suffocating. When a man feels like you need him to feel complete, it shifts the dynamic of the relationship. Suddenly, it's not about two people coming together as equals. It's about one person leaning on the other, which can make the pursuit feel more like a responsibility than an exciting journey. You see, the act of chasing him, of constantly being the one who initiates contact, seeks approval, or demands his attention, can often be interpreted as smothering. While it might feel like you're showing affection, it can instead convey that you are emotionally dependent or insecure. And unfortunately, this is not a trait that many men find attractive. Attraction, especially for men, grows when they are allowed to feel capable, strong, and needed, but not overwhelmed. They want to be valued for what they bring to the table, and they want the opportunity to show up for you. Whether that's emotionally, physically, or mentally, they want to feel like they are needed, but they also want the freedom to offer that care without being coerced. They want to have the space to make the first move, to initiate plans, and to take the lead in ways that make them feel strong and confident. Think about the men who have pursued you in the past, the ones who felt like they had to chase after you, not because you were playing games, but because you weren't constantly pursuing them. They had to put in the effort to gain your attention, which sparked a natural admiration and respect for you. The ones who simply gave you attention on demand without you having to earn it often lost that spark of genuine interest over time. Why? Because their sense of purpose and value within the relationship was when you step back from the chase and allow a man the space to pursue you, you empower him to feel wanted, not smothered. You allow him to lead the way, to create the effort and show you that he's willing to invest in building something meaningful. You're not demanding it from him. You're creating an environment where he has the freedom to express that desire naturally. And men find that sense of freedom not only invigorating, but also incredibly attractive. Additionally, when you stop pursuing him and allow him to take the initiative, you stop putting him in the position of constantly having to chase you to prove his worth. This shift allows the relationship to become more balanced. You no longer appear as though you're dependent on him for your happiness or validation. You become someone who is emotionally independent, self-assured. This emotional security gives him space to feel his own strength, and it gives him the opportunity to miss you, to want you more, and to come after you in ways that feel natural and fulfilling. Another powerful aspect of this dynamic is that when you stop chasing, it brings about a sense of mystery and intrigue. Men are naturally drawn to what they can't immediately figure out. By allowing the relationship to evolve without pushing it, you create that mystery. He starts to wonder what's going on in your life, what you're thinking, and how you truly feel. This curiosity builds desire as it invites him to discover you on a deeper level instead of assuming everything about you from the outset. The more he has to learn, the more invested he becomes. Ultimately, men don't want to be in a relationship where they feel like they're just fulfilling a role. They want to be needed, yes, but they don't want to feel like their efforts are being demanded. When you pull back from the chase, you give him the space to feel needed in the right way. And this makes him more likely to continue pursuing you, not because he has to, but because he truly wants to. It's the balance of space and connection that makes a relationship last. Too much chasing can suffocate the natural flow of attraction. But when you allow him the opportunity to step up, it strengthens both of you. When you're constantly chasing someone, it can often stem from a place of insecurity or a need for validation. You might think that by pursuing him relentlessly, you'll prove your worth or that your attention will make him realize how special you are. But the truth is, when you chase someone from a place of insecurity, you only diminish your value in their eyes. It shows them that you're willing to settle for scraps. that you're willing to lower your standards just to keep his interest. And nothing about that is attractive. True self-respect, however, comes from a place of understanding that you deserve the best and you won't settle for less. You don't have to chase after love because you already know that you are worthy of being pursued. When you respect yourself, you create an internal sense of peace that makes you less reliant on external validation. Your happiness doesn't depend on whether or not a man is calling, texting, or pursuing you. Instead, it comes from knowing that you are enough as you are. This self-respect isn't just something you display outwardly. It's something you believe deep within yourself. It means knowing your own value, recognizing your strengths, and understanding that your time and energy are precious. When a man sees this level of self-respect, it forces him to raise his standards too. He realizes that he has to step up to meet you, to earn your time, attention, and affection. This creates a healthy tension in the relationship, where both parties feel compelled to bring their best selves forward. The problem with constantly chasing someone is that it sends the opposite message. It can suggest that you're willing to lower your standards to invest in something that may not be reciprocal, all in the hope that your efforts will be rewarded. But in reality, this doesn't work. Relationships built on the foundation of neediness or desperation rarely last. They lack the depth, balance, and respect that both partners need to feel fulfilled. Instead of chasing him, show him that your life is complete without him, and he'll naturally be drawn to that. A man who respects you will see that your life is full and that he's not the center of your universe, nor should he be. He'll see that you've built a fulfilling, independent life and that your happiness doesn't hinge on his attention or approval. This fosters a relationship dynamic where he wants to be a part of your life because you've shown him that you're a whole person, not someone who needs him to complete you. Self-respect also impacts the way you communicate. When you respect yourself, you demand respect in return. You won't tolerate bad behavior, dismissiveness, or neglect. If a man truly values you, he will recognize that he needs to show you the respect you deserve. This dynamic builds a strong foundation for a healthy, balanced relationship where both partners feel valued, appreciated, and understood. In the end, when you respect yourself, you're not only creating the conditions for a man to chase you forever, you're also fostering a deeper, more meaningful connection. You're ensuring that your relationship is built on mutual respect, admiration, and attraction. This type of relationship doesn't require constant chasing. It's a natural, organic process where both parties are equally invested and eager to contribute to the relationship's growth. The best relationships are those where both partners recognize their own worth and come together to create something even greater than the sum of its parts. Patience is one of the most powerful yet underrated tools when it comes to building a lasting, meaningful relationship. In a world that thrives on instant gratification, we often overlook the fact that true desire is cultivated slowly through time, space, and careful consideration. When you stop chasing after a man and allow patience to guide your actions, you inadvertently create an environment in which desire can flourish. Why is patience such a powerful force in relationships? The simple answer is that desire thrives in an atmosphere where anticipation and mystery exist. When you are constantly pursuing someone, you give them no time to miss you. You give them no room to truly appreciate the value of your attention and affection. They come to expect it, to take it for granted. And before long, the attraction may fade because there's no mystery, no tension to keep things exciting. On the other hand, when you practice patience and step back, you allow him the space to experience the anticipation of wanting you. You create room for him to feel the desire for your presence, your attention, and your love. People naturally value what they have to work for. By stepping back and not always being available, you allow him to feel the urge to earn your time and affection. This, in turn, makes your connection more exciting and more meaningful. Think about the most intense romantic relationships throughout history. Those that have lasted, that have withstood the tests of time. They were not built on rushed moments or constant chasing. They were built on a slow burn of connection, where both parties took their time to truly understand each other, to build trust, and to allow that deep attraction to develop. When you practice patience, you're not forcing things to happen prematurely. You're allowing the relationship to unfold at a natural pace, which ultimately makes the bond stronger. Patience also means that you are willing to give him time to come to his own conclusions about his feelings for you. When you're patient, you're not pressuring him to make decisions about the relationship right away. You're not bombarding him with expectations. Instead, you give him the opportunity to develop his feelings at his own pace. This gives him the freedom to approach you with a clear mind and a true sense of desire, free from any pressures or manipulation. When a man feels like he can come to his own conclusions about how he feels about you, his feelings are deeper, more genuine, and more lasting. Furthermore, patience creates a dynamic of balance in the relationship. When you're constantly chasing, you're putting in all the effort, and this can create an imbalance. You may start to feel that he doesn't need to try as hard, or worse, he may take you for granted. But when you practice patience, you set a precedent that the relationship requires effort from both sides. It encourages him to invest emotionally, to pursue you in return. This balance, in turn, makes the relationship feel more equitable and satisfying for both partners. In relationships, as in life, there's something incredibly seductive about delayed gratification. When you withhold a piece of yourself, not out of manipulation, but out of the respect you have for your own time and energy, it leaves the other person wanting more. This builds desire, not in a way that makes them feel deprived, but in a way that makes them truly appreciate the moments you choose to spend together. It fosters a sense of longing, of anticipation, which makes your time together more valuable. Another aspect of patience is that it allows both of you to remain grounded. Rushed decisions or constant chasing often cloud judgment. Emotions can become overwhelming and rational thinking can take a back seat. But when you practice patience, you allow time for clarity. You give yourself and him space to reflect on the relationship and whether it's truly aligned with your long-term desires and values. This leads to decisions that are more thoughtful and ultimately more aligned with both of your needs. Patience also creates the opportunity for growth. As both of you take your time to develop individually and together, you build a foundation that's stronger than mere infatuation. Instead of chasing after the temporary high of instant gratification, you focus on building a lasting bond that is grounded in mutual respect, trust, and understanding. It's important to note that patience doesn't mean waiting passively without taking any action. It doesn't mean that you become cold, distant, or indifferent. Instead, it means knowing when to give space and when to allow the natural rhythm of the relationship to unfold. It's about knowing that you don't need to chase or rush the process, because in time, the desire will become mutual and the relationship will be built on a stronger, more genuine foundation. In the end, patience creates a dynamic where both partners are fully invested in each other. The desire that grows through patience is far more profound than the fleeting desire created by chasing. It's built on respect, space, and the anticipation of what's to come. When you allow patience to guide the way, you foster a relationship where both parties are not only excited by the connection, but are deeply invested in nurturing and growing it. This is the kind of attraction that lasts, the kind that's not dependent on constant pursuit, but on mutual understanding, respect, and most importantly, a desire that is deepened with time. One of the most important yet often overlooked aspects of building a strong, lasting relationship is the power of giving space. Space is not just about physical distance, it's about respecting each other's emotional and mental boundaries. When you stop chasing a man and allow him the room to breathe, it not only fosters trust, but also deepens the respect between both of you. This space doesn't mean you are withdrawing your affection or disengaging from the relationship. It means you're allowing him the freedom to fully appreciate you without the pressure of constant attention or demands. Respect is the cornerstone of any successful relationship, and it grows exponentially when both parties feel free to express their individuality. By giving space, You are showing that you respect his autonomy and the fact that he, like you, needs time to pursue his own interests, goals, and paths. When we give our partners the space to be themselves, we demonstrate that we don't see them as an extension of ourselves or as someone who needs to fulfill every emotional or physical need we have. Instead, we recognize their individuality, their own life journey, and the fact that they have their own world outside of the relationship. Think about the relationships where space is respected. These are often the ones where both partners have a deep understanding that they don't need to be physically or emotionally glued to one another 24/7. They respect that each person has a life outside of the relationship, and that this space is not a threat to their connection, but rather an opportunity for growth. A person who constantly chases, always demanding attention and validation, doesn't give the other person room to breathe. This can lead to feelings of suffocation and resentment, and over time, the dynamic of the relationship can become strained. When you stop chasing a man and give him space, you also give him the freedom to miss you. This sense of absence creates desire, but it also fosters a deep level of respect. He begins to realize that your time, attention, and affection are not just freely given without thought. Instead, they are earned through mutual respect and effort. When you give him space, you're not pushing him away. You're letting him come to you on his own terms, appreciating you and your presence more when you do share your time and attention. This sense of autonomy allows the relationship to breathe, to evolve, and to grow in a healthy, balanced way. It's important to note that giving space is not about playing games or creating distance in an attempt to manipulate someone's feelings. It's about recognizing the need for independence within a relationship. Relationships, while deeply fulfilling, require both individuals to continue growing as separate entities. You should both be able to enjoy your personal time, whether that's pursuing a hobby, spending time with friends, or focusing on individual goals. When each person can still maintain their sense of self, it strengthens the bond between you because you are both bringing your most authentic selves to the relationship. Giving space also allows for self-reflection. When you're constantly chasing someone, it's easy to lose sight of your own needs, desires, and goals. But by stepping back and giving him the space to act on his own, you also create the opportunity for yourself to reflect on what you want in the relationship, what you're bringing to the table, and whether you're both aligned on your long-term goals. This self-reflection is critical to ensuring that you are not compromising your needs or your self-worth in the pursuit of someone else's approval or attention. A man who feels the freedom to pursue his own interests and passions will respect the fact that you do the same. He will appreciate that you're not looking to him to complete you or to be your sole source of happiness. Instead, you are a strong, independent individual who enriches his life, not by being constantly present, but by being someone who adds value through shared experiences, emotional support, and a sense of mutual respect. This space fosters a more grounded, confident relationship where both people are free to express themselves fully. Giving space doesn't mean you love or care less. It means that you trust each other enough to know that time apart will only strengthen the relationship. By giving him the space to be who he is, to grow and pursue his own passions, you foster a dynamic of respect where both partners are secure in the knowledge that the love they share is built on mutual admiration and understanding. Ultimately, the space you give him not only allows him to grow, but it allows the relate. It's through this space that a man will begin to see your value more clearly, not as someone who is always present, but as someone who is secure, independent, and capable of living a full life outside of the relationship. And that is exactly when respect becomes the bedrock of a lasting, fulfilling connection. If you stop trying to force a connection, the universe will work in your favor. Men will chase you, but only if you stop chasing them first. You have the power within you to inspire love and admiration, to stop seeking validation and start becoming the person who is already complete. That's when everything changes. Remember, it's not about trying harder. It's about trusting the process and letting the right man come to you. Stay true to yourself and never settle. You are worth the chase.